Welcome to the Good Gift Show, episode 7. Now I have the living legend, dead or alive. His name is Pro. My man.
Thank you,
Welcome
sir.
to the show.
Thank you, brother. Good to be on.
I'm very happy to have you on the show, man. I've been wanting to have you all my life. Yeah.
Nice.
So
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
How are you, sir?
I'm blessed, man. It's December time. I am happy. It's been a tough year. I'm relieved that we made it to this year, and you know what I mean. We still keeping in motion. You know.
So how did you come up with the name Proverb?
Proverb I came with in high school. We were all trying to be rappers, and I wanted to be a pro with the verbs, but also a proverb is a short saying stating the truth. So I decided to make that what I stand for.
So in your music back in the days, there was no vulgar words or anything of some sort.
Yeah.
Did that that decision, were you conscious about it, or it's just something that you were like someone?
Here's what people don't know.
Yeah.
In the very early days, of course they used to be, man.
Yeah.
But my mom disapproved of that. And she forced me to re-look at what I wanted my content to be about and the style and so on. So I then made a conscious effort to make sure that going forward I keep it nice and clean.
So what lessons that you have learned in your career, in your personal life, that you have learned the hard way?
Munna, life will always teach you lessons at every single corner of your life. But what I have learned is things like, try not to plan too much. You can have a general map of your life, but try not to plan. Always be ready, willing, and able to adjust the sails, because at any given moment, the direction of life will change, the pace of life will change. From all just life occurrences, man, whether it's in a personal capacity, your career changes, changes are constant, brother.
Yeah.
So as much as you have sort of a plan of how you want your life to go, you should always remain fluid and flexible to maneuver as and when the changes happen.
They say, like, when you plan, you delay what you want to do. Someone said you start by starting.
You start by starting.
Yeah.
That is so deep. Look, the thing is, it's a little bit of a contradictory philosophy, because I do think you need to have an intention of where you want to go and how you want to get there, right? But because you don't know what the road looks like, it's like trying to plan a journey to another town.
Yeah.
If you don't know that road off by heart, there could be potholes, there could be road closures, there could be random stops. And I feel like the same is about life. But it shouldn't stop where it is you intend to go. But you must just be flexible about how you're going to get there, because you don't know those changes as they come. That's kind of how I feel about life.
Speaking of, what inspires you? Like, now that you're talking about planning, like, what inspires you in life and career-wise?
That's so interesting, man. Because that has also evolved as my life has gone. As a youngster, I just wanted to break into the industry. I wanted to break into independence. I wanted my coming of age. So I was trying to get a job and trying to get my first car, and trying to get my first place, and so I was just driven by trying to be independent and be my own person. Then when I became my own person, my drive became for success, whatever that's defined by. So I wanted to be a successful creative, successful musician, successful artist, successful presenter, and just be like the best in the game. But now I'm at a different phase of my life again, where I'm inspired by different things. I have my kids, so now I'm kind of I'm driven by the pursuit of peace. Now I want to be at peace, man. I just want life to flow. I want to get along with everyone. I want to make friends where I can. I want to empower as many as I can. But personally, I just want peace for myself. You know what I mean? So it has evolved as I have gone with the phases of my life.
So phases of your life, you have idols, you have back then, now that you're a retired rapper.
Sure.
So
people say retired. I don't think I'm retired. I think I've graduated.
Oh,
Do you understand?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, I think I did it fully to the max. 5 albums, a DVD, a mixtape, countless collaborations. Him and man.
Yeah.
I think I can tick it off the list and move on. Yeah.
No, Brad, well, I am inspired by you, obviously.
Thank you, brother.
That's why you're here.
Thank you.
And like I said, well, where do you find inspiration? You said it evolves. So, what are some of the challenges that you have faced in your career that you wouldn't want anyone to go through?
You know why that's a tough question to answer? Because all of the challenges that I have encountered, I have either grown from, learned from, developed new skills from. So I don't sort of regret any challenges because you may never have learned anything had you not gone through these challenges. So I think we need to reevaluate how we look at challenges, and not discourage them, because you wouldn't learn what you know if you don't encounter some of these things. They teach you to think differently, to problem solve, to maneuver, to rework your strategy, to maybe even improve your strategy. Can you imagine if the Wright brothers, for instance, the guys who built the first plane. Can you imagine if their first idea worked perfectly? We wouldn't have jets now. We wouldn't, because the plan may never have evolved because it worked the first time.
Sure.
You understand what I'm saying?
I get what you're
so
saying.
I think it is healthy to encounter challenges because they force you to revisit the drawing board, rework the plan, come back with a better plan. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, so I'm not anti challenges. I encourage them, man. But let's change our attitude towards them. Be excited by problems, because from there you will learn new skills which are to problem solve that particular challenge.
There's something that you once told me,
Yeah.
and I now live by it, which is having mentors. Please tell us your opinion on having mentors, because I remember this one time you said you don't subscribe to them, and that for me gave me like a brain fart.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
So you know why I don't believe in the concept of a mentor? Is because, one, that's understood to be some kind of singular person who has figured and cracked the code of life, and I don't think there's any such a person. It's also working with the assumption that somebody knows more than you. I feel like we have different sets of information. I may know more about the entertainment business, but you could know more about the hustle, about innovation, about technology than I. So I think instead of hero worshipping any one person or a few people and assuming that they have cracked the code for life, I think we should rather inculcate the culture where we all exchange information. You share with me what you know, I will share what I know, and together we all learn something new.
Sure.
So in that way, the playing field is neutralized and nobody's anybody's mentor or hero or role model. We all learn from each other. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I made this example the other day when I was doing another talk, for instance, where I was I went to a petrol station to go and fill up my car, and the petrol attendant. Have you heard the story before?
No.
Petrol attendant says to me, what should I put into your car? And I tell him what to put in. Then he says, can I check your tire pressure? And I'm like, yeah, sure, check the tire pressure. Then he's like, all right, can I wash your window as well? And I'm like, yeah, cool. Then he's like, do you have any rubbish in the car that I can throw for you? And bear in mind, I came in to just fill up.
Yeah.
But from there, he offered me 8 other services.
Sure.
And the moral of the story, or what I learned from that, is when I do my job or my particular vocational calling, do I just do the bare minimum, or do I go above and beyond? So if my call of duty says you need to rock up at 11, play songs and back announce, right? I could just do the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Or I could come here, organize my guests, prepare my content, get on the internet, do research on the songs. So go above and beyond. And what I'm illustrating by that is I learned that lesson from the unlikeliest of interactions. And by that sort of thinking, I think we can all learn from each other, because somebody always knows something you don't. And if we just acute to the lesson, you can always pick it up and, position it into your own personal space. I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense a lot.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There you go.
So were you always in your mind had the proverb that you are today?
No.
Yeah?
No. Listen, man. First of all, I'm constantly evolving, constantly growing. The person I was yesterday, much less 5 years ago, much less 10 years ago, is a different guy altogether. I find that, as human beings, we are allowed to constantly evolve. If you are the same person 10 years ago that you are now, that means you're not growing. And if you're not growing, what are you, dead? Do you know what I mean? So I think, of course, I'm not the same person. I don't want to be the same person. I certainly hope when we have this convo again in a year, I'm not the same person. If I'm giving you the same answers, then it means I've been jogging on the treadmill since the last time we spoke.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I think. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
No, I'm very loud right now.
No worries, Holmes. Let's do it.
So your show,
Yeah.
Winner Circle, and you also have Kaya Set. How did that come about? I know you came in knocking.
Yeah.
But did you already have okay, this is what I'm going with?
Not really. So I did have a sort of radio background. I studied sound engineering. I started out as a technical producer at YFM, worked a couple of years, went to Metro a couple of years. Then I went to Highveld, which is now 947, a couple of years. Then I was out of work for a while. And then I came knocking here for a good 2-3 years before I was given an opportunity. Then I was trying to stand in, whenever, like this time of year when other hosts are taking breaks, I would just come in and do stand-ins and so on. Then I was given an opportunity to take over the chart show.
Oh, okay.
But the chart show wasn't making sense in my mind because KFM doesn't play chart music or popular music.
Oh, yeah.
So then I repitched something else, which was the Winner Circle. And, because of the phase where I was in my life where, again, I think we can all learn from each other. I try and get people who I think we can all learn from.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So that was kind of the premise of the show. The premise of the Kaya set was to try and provide a launch pad or a platform for new artists. But not only that, but just to touch base with the industry, to, get the latest news, who's doing what, where are the gigs happening, what is, you know what I mean? So that's kind of the philosophy of the two shows.
Sure.
Yeah.
So please take me to the 2 years. I'll make an example. If someone comes and then I knock, say, hey, Proverb, please help me with this.
Yeah.
The first time, okay, maybe, you didn't like me or whatever.
Yeah.
Second time, third time. But for 2 years, what was on your mind at the time when you were knocking for 2 years? Still getting the nose.
It's like a missile launcher, brother. You know how a missile launcher generally will lock in on the target.
Yeah.
Once it has zeroed in on the target, it doesn't matter how the target maneuvers and which way it goes. It's locked in on it. So for me, this was a goal. I was locked in on it. It doesn't matter how long it took. It was definitely going to happen. Radio's always been a passion of mine. So has television. So has entertainment. So, because I wanted it so blindly, so relentlessly, I wasn't going to take a no. And that goes with a lot of the goals that I have. If I zone in on it, I definitely pursue it with all my might. And I think we all should and can.
So we almost at the end of 2020.
Yeah.
I guess next year you turning the big 4.
I am. Can you believe it, man? I can't believe I'm that old.
Yeah. So what are the plans?
I don't know, man.
I know you like traveling.
Yeah, I keep having multiple plans, but I've kind of set my heart on another plan right now, which is actually part of the reason I'm working this whole time. I'm trying to conclude everything that I have been working on this year, so that come the big 4-0, I can, I'd rather have all finished goals than a batch of of new ones. So my goal is to kind of conclude, see these ones to the end, then I'll start afresh.
So if 40 was like the lifespan of a human being, what would you do different?
What would I do differently? I wouldn't do anything differently. I think everything that has happened has led me to where I am, and I'm absolutely fulfilled by it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between Proverb and Tebogo?
There used to be. I used to think of it this way. I used to think of it as Tebogo being who I am and Proverb what I do. But I think as the years have gone, it's all sort of become the same person, because Proverb is just as private, you know. I think as soon as I'm done with what I have to do, I go on to being just somebody's dad. You know what I mean? So there isn't a difference. It's all the same guy.
Sure.
Yeah.
So for someone who is starting a new career, might not be rapping or music or anything.
Sure.
But they going through the 2 years you went through.
Yeah.
So what would you say to them?
I say not only do you keep knocking, but I say knock on all the doors. You know, I've been a big believer in diversifying constantly, casting your net wide. And to do that, I think you have to always expose yourself to as much as you can, because you never know what's going to pop off, number one. And also, because everything is so short-lived, man, I think the broader your skill set is, you know, the likely it is that you'll survive this life. You know, so do as much as you can, as often as you can, as widely as you can, as diverse as you can, and just expose yourself to as much as possible.
Yeah. And how do you deal with negativity?
What negativity? I don't. I don't deal with negativity. Yeah. As in from like the outside world,
comments,
people.
Outside world, and maybe you having like negative thoughts of something maybe new, maybe you're venturing into something else, and you're like, can I do this? Can I not?
Like doubts and things like that.
Yeah.
Look, I think I'm sort of past the point in my life where I'm impressionable and affected by the thoughts of anybody else necessarily, you know. So that's kind of, as far as the outside world, I think I've grown immune to it by way of developing a thick skin over the years. And I try not to ever self-sabotage, you know, by say my doubts and insecurities ever get in the best of me. So yes, I would rather take a leap regardless. So even if I'm scared, uncertain, and you'll be shocked how many things I do with that very uncertainty, you know.
Sure.
I remember the first time I had to host a live show.
Yeah.
Man, I was afraid out of my mind. But as soon as the curtains open, you just have to step in there. Because that's the only way to ever overcome anything, is just to sort of conquer it. And here's an unpopular opinion. Sometimes you need to not believe yourself. And let me tell you what I mean by that. If your subconscious, your conscience is trying to convince you that you are incapable, you need to prove yourself wrong too.
Sure.
Right? Am I right?
You're right.
Yeah, man. You need to prove yourself wrong too. It's such a weird thing to think about, I think. Because you're like, if you believe you can't do something, then what is the thing fueling you to believe you can? Ne?
Wow.
Yeah, wow. I'm messing with my own
mind. Seems like you're thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm thinking of it. I'm like, where do you draw that from? Where do you draw that from? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because that's like saying, if your car refuses to start, you should drive anyway. Because you're like, wait a minute, but now what's driving it then? Right? But fortunately, as human beings, I think we have the ability to operate outside of logic. If that were the case, right, you wouldn't find guys climbing Mount Everest, climbing Kilimanjaro, and just doing things considered impossible, skydiving, scuba diving with sharks. Do you know what I mean? So I think we're definitely capable of the impossible. You just have to, you know, disagree with yourself sometimes.
So please take me to the first thing that you have done, maybe this year or last year, and what was in your mind when you were doing that?
What do you mean by the first thing I've done?
Like something that you have done like for the first time. Like this
I see. Oh my gosh. Well, I wrote a book for the first time. This year. Let me think what else there is, man. Sure, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I always keep my eye so focused on the next thing. I never stop to think about the thing before. You know. So I don't know. I can't think of them.
So coming to your book.
Yes,
right? You wrote the book of Proverb.
I did.
Which is also your first album, I think.
It's also coincidentally named. My first album has the same title. Yes.
All right. So when did you start writing the book?
The book we started doing last year sometime. So around about September or so. Yeah.
Was it easy or hard writing the book?
You know something? I thought it would be harder than it ended up being. I mean, this is the reason I had a co-writer, because I thought it was going to be this impossible task. But as we got into it, so I didn't think it was too bad, because all it is just telling your story as honestly, as frankly as possible.
So what is like having a co-writer? Do you guys like write together, or is it
No, so what would actually happen is she would come with a recorder, and you would literally tell your story, and she would ask questions and then go and transcribe it. So you told the story, but she did the physical writing. Then you sort of proofread, change a couple of facts and details and make them more accurate, etc. That was at least the process we used.
So are you a reader yourself?
I am an avid reader, yes.
Yeah. What was like most of the books that you read? That you
man, I've read books like Capitalist Nigga, Tebogo recently. I've read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He also has another book that I like called Why the Rich Get Richer. I've got many titles, man, that I read. I've got a nice bookshelf at home.
Have you read yours?
Of course. Because I had to read my
like
book many
after,
times.
You know, it goes out publishing and stuff
Exactly,
like that.
because you try and then read it from the perspective of everybody else. You know what I mean? So yeah, I have read it again.
Incredible book.
Yeah,
man.
thank you, sir.
How is it going though?
No, it's going very well, man. To the surprise of the publisher, it's very pleasantly received. I'm enjoying great support, and I'm very grateful. Yeah.
So I wanna like know what was in your mind. Were you like when you were writing the book, or came with the idea? Were you like, this is the right time? Or you just...
No, you never think it's the right time. You never think your story is adequate. You never think you've had any or enough life experiences. But you'll never reach that point. I don't think anyone ever reaches a point where they think, okay, good, now I have enough to share. You know, but I reckon you can just start it. You know, and who says there can't be a second one after more life experiences, etc.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
So what is it that you think you're lying to yourself about?
Me?
Yeah.
That I'm lying to myself about? Jeez, that's interesting, man. Let me just think. I don't know, man. You know, let me tell you why I think I don't know. Because I think convincing yourself of something is different to lying to yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you, for instance, convincing yourself that you are capable, you are able, you are strong, you are, say you're not feeling your best, but you convince yourself that despite it all, you have to get up. I wouldn't define that as lying to yourself. I think you are constantly re-altering your energy to suit what it is you're trying to achieve. And so I maybe don't subscribe to the idea of lying to yourself. I maybe think you can convince yourself of something, which for me wouldn't constitute lying. And I don't know if that's dodging. I don't know if I'm matrixing your answer, your question there. You know?
No, not at all. So in closing, I wanna ask you what's the one thing that you've lived by? Maybe a quote from someone, or maybe a book that you've read yourself that someone said, something amazing, and you've always carried it in your life moving on.
You know, it's not all that profound. It's actually the simplest thing, which I have said many times while we've been chatting. My dad says always, never plan too much. And it's funny how at the time that he said it, it made no sense. The many a times that he has said it has made no sense. I'm like, I don't get what that means. But I find that the older I get, the more life experiences I have, the more life progresses, the more I understand that. You know, and every time something tragic happens and I want to tell him, that's always the thing he comes back with, man, to say, Ish, I told you, man, don't plan too much.
Do not plan too
You know
much.
what I mean? And I'm beginning to get it. You know, I don't think he means freestyle your life and just make it up.
Yeah.
I think he just means, you know, be open to changes. You know, be aware that life is unpredictable. There's no set course. You know, so just be flexible and adaptable. You know what I mean? And I think this year was a perfect example of that.
Of
You know,
course,
we all had a general idea of how we wanted the year to go. It did its own thing, and we had to maneuver and adjust. And here we are. And I think that's how I'm beginning to understand it. So it's not all that profound, really, but it's definitely something that's sort of had a lot of meaning in my life. Yeah.
So please tell us, where do people find your book and your socials?
So the book is available at all sort of reputable stores, including online, but you're more than welcome to check out my platforms. You know, there will invariably be a link to send you somewhere. So the website is proverbmusic.net. And the handles are all at Proverb Music.
At Proverb Music.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, my brother. And there's something that I want to do.
Yes, sir.
Since you're here.
Are you sparking a freestyle?
Yeah, no. I can't rap. I can't rap for
Okay.
days. But here's what I want to do. Man.
Yes.
You'll tell me where the song is.
Okay.
It goes like this. I write what I like and I like what I write. I like to be right, but I don't really write to be liked. There's a difference. I get hype when I write, like journalists, but I'm no journalist, no. So I don't write for the hype. And not to say the hype is not right. Writing will get you hyped, and having the hype doesn't mean you can write. Hype is the right cover. So whatever you write might just get you in a cover of hype.
There you go.
You can count from left to right how many writers are left. Then you'll be left thinking it's not right. Just how many writers have been left stranded. It's quite a mess, like trying to write left-handed.
Wow.
And even though there's not much left, that feels right. Look, I'm still here. I have no left. I still write. I'm an author with so many books left and right. Let's perform. I'm still getting booked left and right.
I don't know what humbles me more, man. The fact that you know that word for word like that, or the fact that you still know it and it's so old. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So respect, man. Thank you so
classic.
much. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man. I used to listen to you. I still do.
Wow, thank you, brother.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us.
No worries, my dude. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Hopefully, man, God bless you.
And you, my man.
Thank you so much. That's how we close it, the Good Gift Show. Thank you very much for watching. And we out.
Peace. Nice one,
Thank you so
obviously.
much.
That was dope. Good.